So guys, this is Robert Watson with Symbiotic Associations. I'm doing the symbiosis between insects and fungi, and I'm going to give you guys an introduction, and I'm going to go through my slides. What is a symbiosis? Well, it's a relationship between two or more species, usually long-term, in which one species has an effect, positive or negative, on the other, and vice versa. Uh, and this sort of symbiosis may influence coevolution or prevent it. And I'll get to that in a little while. Um, and then we all know what a mutualism is. It's two or more players are involved. Both players or all the players are positively affected by the symbiosis. All right, we're going to move on to termites and fungi mutualism. Termites from the subfamily Microtermitinae are all known to cultivate fungi. They're endogenous to the tropics and the subtropic regions of Africa and Asia. Fungi from the genus Termitomyces. These genus are extremely specific to the termites, thus the obligate mutual symbiosis. Termites cultivate the fungus in their nests. They form fungal combs. And these fungal combs are formed when termites make the combs partially from plant material that has been partially digested by the termites. And they also employ super compacted fecal pellets to form the backbone of the fungus. So what they're doing is they're taking partially chewed leaf material and fecal pellets, and they're combining these guys, and they're super compacting them to form this ball of hardened substrate. And what the termites will do is they'll dig through and form tunnels through which they'll grow their fungi on. And this backbone is the substrate, like I just said, that the termites use to cultivate the symbiotic fungi on. As the comb ages, the fungus Termitomyces begins to proliferate. This is said to be because the fungal enzymes have had time to break down the leaf material to allow the fungus themselves to utilize the nutrition from the plants and grow faster. So the more aged portion of the comb will be easier to digest. The mature portion of the comb, which contains the fungi that is eaten, is utilized by the larvae. However, it does provide supplemental nutrition for the entire colony. Some termite species that eat cellulose do not house the protist trichonympha, which contain the cellulose-degrading bacteria such as cellulose solvents. Termites that eat cellulose and have no endosymbiont rely strongly on the fungal lignin decomposing enzymes. Thus the reason for utilization of the mature comb rather than the freshly made, which is what I alluded to before. The take home for the termite and fungus symbiosis is that fungus breaks down lignin in the lignocellulose, which allow the termites to digest the cellulose material a lot quicker. And some fungi also outcompete pathogenic fungal species, and termites also ensure the spread of the fungus. Continuing on, beetles and fungi mutualism. The two types of beetles that we'll be talking about are the mountain pine beetles and various ambrosia beetle species. And their counterparts, the fungal symbiont from the class Ascomycetes and from various genuses of Fusarium. These fungus are invasive once they're inoculated into the tree by the beetles. These fungus are known to cause disease and or kill the host trees, specifically the avocado tree and the American Lauraceae. All right, beetles and fungus mutualism continued. We're going to talk about the ambrosia beetle and the fungus first. This mutualism equals a parasitism towards the tree. The ambrosia beetles carry fungus into the xylem of the tree. The fungus is carried by specialized pockets under the mouth of the beetles called mycangia. The fungus is grown and cultivated there. So what's happening here is the beetles are actually compacting the fungus inside the mycangia, and I don't have a picture to show you guys, I'm sorry. But they'll hold it there, they'll bore a hole inside the tree, and when they get inside the xylem of the tree, they'll spread the fungus around and their larvae around, and the fungus will grow. And I'll get on to what's happening next. Beetle and fungi mutualism continued. The mountain pine beetles and the fungus mutualism also equals a parasitism. These beetles inoculate the fungus into the phloem and the sapwood of the tree, different from the ambrosia beetles who only inoculated the xylem of the tree. Mycangia are also used in these beetles for inoculation. Mycelium take plant nitrogen from the phloem and deliver it via hyphae to the larva. Now, Dr. Blair sort of commented on this during my talk. He sort of imagined that the hyphae were almost like straws, and that these larvae were actually sucking the goodies, the nitrogen and stuff, out of the xylem via the hyphae, using them as straws. And this obviously robs the plant of vital nitrogen. The larvae then develop in the phloem until they are mature enough to exit the tree. Now, before all this takes place, you've got, while the fungus is being set up inside the tree, you've got satellite or satellite beetles, we'll call them, will exit the tree and find similar trees and bore holes in the middle of them and sort of get it set up. After this tree that they're currently at dies, they'll all go to that tree where the satellite beetles have gone, and they'll start the process all over. All right, why does the mutualism between beetles and fungi equal a parasitism? It's simply that they cause disease and death in the host. Without the fungus, the tree survives because the larva will not have a means of obtaining the nutrients. It's that simple. All right, the take home from beetles and fungi. Beetles are transportation for fungus, a type of Foracea, to new trees via mycangia. The fungi deliver nitrogen from the tree to the growing larva via the hyphae, and we talked about that. This relationship causes disease. And may kill the tree. All right, the last portion of this talk, we're going to be talking about leaf-cutting ants and fungus mutualism. We'll be primarily dealing with the Atini tribe ants. There are nearly 200 species of this ant. They're primarily found in the tropics and the subtropics. They come from the genera Atta and Acromyrmex, and all of which grow fungus in fungal gardens. Now, the structure of these fungal gardens are very similar to the fungal combs that we see in the termite species. The fungal symbiont is various types of basidiomycetes. It's said that this relationship has established 50 million years ago, and it's obviously an obligate relationship. All right, these ants cultivate fungi in a fungus garden. Ant workers collect leaf fragments from the host tree and returns to the fungal garden. The workers then chew the leaf material into a pulp or a mash. Fecal drops are then placed on the mash. This further decomposes the lignin and cellulose for fungal use. Then the workers inoculate the pulp with the fungus and incorporate it into the garden. So what they're essentially doing is they're ingesting the fungal enzymes via ganglidia, and they're depositing those same enzymes back on the fungal garden, which allows the further degradation of plant material, which allows the fungus to utilize the nutrition from that plant a lot easier, spreading it around. All right. The substrate by which the ants use to form the gardens differ. Some grow their gardens on larvae and various decomposing materials, while others grow their gardens on freshly cut leaf litter. All right, lunchtime. Worker ants ingest plant sap while they are chewing the leaves into a pulp. The adults also eat portions of the mature fungus garden for supplement. The gunglidia, as I said before, are fed to the growing larvae, and some workers also eat the gunglidia. Gunglidia are bulbous hyphal tips, which contain the fungal enzymes used to break down the lignin and, in some cases, the cellulose. And the larva actually feeds solely on the fungus. All right, ants, fungus, and feces equal enzymes. Chitinases, pectinases, CMCases, and proteases are all employed. The presence of these enzymes help ants prep for fungal proliferation in the gardens. Supplied by the ant fecal material, and it's hypothesized that this acts as an extracellular digestion function for the fungus. These enzymes are of fungal origin, so that makes sense. Leaf-cutting ants also may evade plant defenses. We know that when certain plants are attacked, they release certain toxins that would kill an insect. Now what happens is ants are possibly protected from plant defenses by some fungal enzymes, and these are lacases and polyphenol oxidases, which all they do is detoxify plant chemical defenses within the leaves. All right, ant, bacteria, fungus, triangle, a ménage à trois. Bacteria protect fungal gardens against pathogens. Reference the anticoevolution. Some ants exhibit a whitish coat, which is actinobacteria. Only internal workers have this coating. What is the purpose of the white coat of bacteria other than garden protection? Do they aid in ant immunity by decreasing immune activities? I'll get to those questions in a second, but first I'll give you guys a brief overview of the basics of an insect's immune system. An insect's immune system are not specific, and they have no memory. However, they do have innate functions. One is encapsulation. They'll release hemocytes, which is a cell within the hemolymph of an insect, that release granules that surround the pathogens and wall it off. And then the step called melanization, which utilizes a cell called a melanocyte that injects the wall of granules with melanin that solidifies the wall. All right, back to the questions that I asked previously. Not necessarily. The encapsulation rates were not affected. When bacteria were removed by the researchers, encapsulation rates did not increase, signifying that the bacteria did not aid in any sort of immune function. The hypothesized role that the bacteria plays for the ant, other than to protect the fungal garden, is that they do protect young ants until their immunity has matured. All right, our take home for our ants is that ants protect plants from non-mutualistic parasites. Plants give ants foliage. Bacteria protect garden and ant larvae from pathogens. And fungus provides enzymes that break down plant materials. Thank you very much. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as much as I did.